The Howard Stern Show.
When you were a Saturday Night Live performer, most people don't realize, a lot of people there don't write their own material. You always wrote your own material, a lot of your material, which I admire so much because those bits were so great. So you're writing your own material, you're doing your thing, and you got really pissed off at Saturday Night Live because they wouldn't pay you as a writer and a performer. They only gave you one salary.
Well, I started out as a writer, and I've had $278 a week. But the first show, I was performing and not being paid for it.
Right.
That's not why I got upset at Lorne and kicked the hole in the wall. I got upset
and wrote in blood on the walls, didn't you?
Well, that was because they were. Well, I wrote a thing. That was to one of the accounts because he billed me for like $200 for something that I felt the studio should have paid for. But
what was the thing?
Back then we were doing pretty wild something that I felt the studio should pay for. So
right. You were
O'Donoghue encouraged me to do that. I was angry at Lorne because at the last minute, we'd be just about to go on air, and then a script change would come in, and we'd go to cue cards, and we'd have to, and I could see the pressure that was being put on them. Not so much me and the cast, but here were these earnest, hardworking crew, and you'd hand them these changes, and they go, we can't get in. So I got mad, and I kicked the wall.
You took it very seriously.
I did. I didn't want the crew compromised in that way.
But that's why you were so great. You never laughed. You never cracked a smile during a sketch. You stayed in character, right? I don't think you ever once broke character, did you?
I don't. I think in Coneheads, it was one time. No, but no, that was kind of a discipline from Second City that we learned. You got to stay.
Coneheads was your favorite sketch that you ever. You came up with it. You were smoking a joint, and you were looking at the TV, and you said, "Wait a second, the heads. It would be funny if everyone's head met the top of the television set."
That was part of the origin. It was. It was also Tom Davis and Rosie Schuster and Lorne Michaels and Lorraine and Jane. We did some improvs and. Originally, they were supposed to be the pinhead lawyers from France, and then we thought we'd make them aliens, and so.
And Rosie Schuster was a girlfriend of yours, and also a writer.
Yeah.
When you're dating someone who is a brilliant writer, are you afraid to have that romance end because you think, wait a second, this is working, this is magical?
Well, we came up with Fred Garvin together, so
male prostitute.
Yeah,
and you guys would act it out in your bedroom.
That
right?
was basically, me trying to, seduce her.
Right.
But
Fred Garvin, male prostitute, another classic bit. Did you see that Rolling Stone thing where they rated the people of all time? Did you happen to catch that?
I did see that, and I think it's unfair to compare people because the talents are so diverse. Look at Phil Hartman. I would put myself behind Phil Hartman, and also just little things like on the show there, where this 40th that we just did. There's Jim Brewer sitting in the audience. I loved Goat Boy, what he did,
great.
and then Chris Parnell was a brilliant impressionist. His Jim Lehrer. The voice, he had the voice and the expression perfectly. There was so many multi-talented people.
I'm not saying it because you're here, but Fred and I, who are big fans of yours from Rob's, but we rate you number one. And I'll tell you why. Every sketch you were in, and in a way, your association with Belushi, I think, almost takes away from how great a collaborator you are. The Steve Martin Czech brother thing that you guys did together proved to people you didn't need just Belushi in order to make magic happen, right? It was great that Belushi was with you when you played Nixon and there was Henry Kissinger, and that was great. But when you and Steve Martin got together, it said, well, Dan Aykroyd can work with anybody and make a sketch great. And that was... It was pure magic. I've never laughed harder in my life than at that, right?
Well, thank you. Of course, if look at the work with Jane, the work with Gilda, we were trained, in Second City to give. You give, and you listen, and you give, and you don't.
You never got jealous?
Override.
When Murray joins the cast second season, and suddenly he hits with that, the lounge singer. Do you ever say yourself competitively, I should have thought of that?
Well, I have many sort of ideas that come to me, and then I found out they've already been done. And there's many things like Sons of Anarchy, for instance. I wish I'd thought of that show.
Yeah, right. I think you did.
But I was in that scene, with Paul and Bill. I played Bill's sort of valet who travels with him, Jimmy Joe Red Sky. So. I got to enjoy being in the piece and participating in it. No, we were always very supportive, like Chevy, for instance. He was one of my biggest cheerleaders. He was always really supportive of what I was doing.
Why does Chevy always get the rap that he wasn't a cheerleader, that he wasn't part of the team, he wasn't a team player?
Oh, it's not right. It's not right. I mean, if you were to take the Mount Rushmore of Saturday Night Live, there would definitely be three faces on it. It would be Michael O'Donoghue, it would be Chevy, it would be Lorne Michaels, and then maybe the Bear Man, John.
The Howard Stern Show.